Hey everyone, thank you for joining me as I break down the good and the bad of Pixar's new film Turning Red, now streaming on Disney Plus. Is this Pixar's most mature movie yet? This movie is about Mei Lee. She lives in Toronto. She is Chinese American and she is living with a very strict mother, played by Sandra Oh, one of my favorite actresses going right now. Does a great job doing the voice of the mother here. And she wants her to go to school, get straight A's, be the best student she can be, come home and take care of the temple that they run that honors their ancestors and culture. But Mei Lee, being a young kid, just turning 13, she just wants to hang out with her friends, fawn over boys, listen to pop bands and hip hop music, and be like a regular 13-year-old you would see in America.
I want to do it because it's fun. It's fun to do bad things. To drive into a car.
But did you know that you could perhaps kill somebody?
Yes, but I wanted to do hood rat stuff with my friend.
So she's torn between spending time with her mother and doing the things that she's been doing as she's been growing up and spending time with the friends that she loves. But as she's struggling with this and all the hormones that's changing her because she's going through puberty, suddenly she starts turning into a big red panda anytime she gets too excited about anything. And as you can tell, that's really hard for a 13-year-old. So I'm going to start off with what I liked about this movie. I'm going to start off with the good. What I liked about this movie, it felt like an animated version of those old school 90s, early 2000s Disney and Nickelodeon coming of age stories with ridiculous situations like Brink and Johnny Tsunami and different films like that, where it was using something that you might not be privy to, like skater culture wasn't that big back then, but they used it in Brink. Or surfboarding back then wasn't really known, especially in Hawaiian people doing it. And they use that to not only expose you to different cultures, but also show a coming age story so you connect to the characters. They do the same thing here where we get to explore a different part of Asian culture in this movie while showing this very cute and funny and adorable coming age story of Mei Lee, who for me was very relatable because I used to work in a school and she and her friends act like a bunch of kids that I used to counsel over back in the day. Very loud, rambunctious, think they know everything, always gyrating for no reason, and really wanted to become in their own person, even though their parents want them to be one way. And I thought that this movie captured that aspect very well and also captures the aspect of young girls and their bond that they have and how much they love each other. I thought that was very, very wholesome, and I really enjoyed the relationship between all four girls and all their different personalities. Obviously, Mei Lee was the main attraction here, and she was the one that it was the most focused, but all the other characters that were in here that was her friends were all entertaining as well. And her relationship with her mother is another highlight of this movie, showing this very strict parent that's only doing what she was taught and not realizing she's passing down the trauma that she received from her mother down to Mei Lee. And everything comes down to her turning into this red panda. And Pixar's animation is fantastic as always, especially in the third act of this movie. They really go all out, and it's just a bright colors, great artistic style, and everything really pops. The panda is hilarious and looks adorable, but could become fierce when Mei Lee gets angry. And her whole journey here is she's starting to pull away from her mother as she's starting to find out who she is as a person, and starting to ditch some of her traditional values that she's been forced into as she starts hanging out and spending more time with her friends and taking advantage of this mystical panda thing that she's turned into. But the catch is that the more she turns into it, the more she might get stuck as the panda, and there's a certain time where she needs to get it out of her, basically. But it coincides when her favorite boy band, which I think is a play on One Direction, they're called Four Town, and there's only like five guys in the group. We go on this journey as Mei Lee tries to figure out if she wants to ditch the old her and become this new rambunctious, more likable to her friends, redheaded person that she's become, where she can't really control her emotions sometimes and turns this dangerous panda, or she ditches it completely and go back and stick to her traditional style that she used to. And I thought that story was very interesting. Mei Lee was a very interesting character, very funny character to follow along. And I think that her character arc was very interesting. Nothing too deep. It was a basic coming of age story, but the characterizations of each character were really, really great. The characters is what carry this story here. And I really like the themes that they play with here with, parental pressure mixed with cultural pressure, trying to live up to those different things. Even if you're not Asian or Asian American, you can still relate to these things if you have a parent that has high expectations and high pressures for you and things that they want you to achieve because they may have not achieved it themselves, or they have achieved it and they want to see you get there and carry on the torch. And I believe that they depicted that relationship and how those things can be pushed on someone, even if they may not be the best positions to do that, especially at a young age like that, where you feel like you have to be perfect all the time. Well, this is one of Pixar's more mature movies. The way it was advertised, you think it's just a straight kiddie movie, but they mess with some themes because her turning into a red panda is basically a metaphor to her basically getting her period, kind of, and they kind of touch upon that as well. They do all the mature stuff very tastefully. So if a little kid who's watching it may not understand it, but the adults will understand what is going on here. All the rage that the kids go through, all the maybe like sexual thoughts they may be going through and changes in that, where the girls might start liking boys they thought weren't even cute before, and all the things like that 13-year-old, 14-year-olds go through as they go through this transformation from a young adolescent to a very, very young adult. And they handled that very sweetly, very adorably, and it was a fun ride. Let's talk about the bad. The story was predictable. A lot of the plot points I kind of could see from a mile away, especially if you watch a lot of coming-of-age story. They pick a lot of the great moments that you'll see in those movies, but nothing here is a revolution. What you're sitting here for is the visuals, the characters, but the story is not going to blow you away at all. And if you don't like having second-hand embarrassment and cringy moments that may come from kids, you may not like the characterizations of some of the kids here. They can be very cringy, can be very immature, but obviously they're 13-year-olds. But if you can't sit through that and you don't like those things, this might not be for you. Let's talk about my verdict. I think Turning Red is a delightful coming-of-age story that is a little bit more mature than most Pixar movies are and hits on different topics and themes very well and in a very entertaining way. I really enjoyed the characterizations of everyone, and that third act was just fun, a fun ride. Obviously, like I said, the only negative part is that I feel like certain parents may not know what they're getting into because the branding and the commercials for this didn't show the mature aspects of it. But if you can, get that out of the way and get out some of the cringy moments, there's something here for you to enjoy. And with that said, I'm going to give it a C+. Tell me what you think about Turning Red. Comment your thoughts down below. Did you have a lot of fun, or you thought it was boring? Who were your favorite characters in the movie? And please like the video if you like my review. Subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot. Hit that notification bell to be notified more of my videos, and you can watch more right now.